And hello, movie lovers. So today I'm going to be reviewing a brand new movie that came on HBO Max. It's actually the sequel to A Christmas Story. This is a Christmas Story Christmas review. Do us a big favor and everything and show some class. Go on ahead, click that like button, click that subscribe button. I'm going to be reviewing this. It's going to be a non spoiler review. So, with further ado, let's go on ahead and get on with the show. And hello, movie lovers. Like I said, this is going to be a Christmas Story movie review. This is going to be a non spoiler review. But I just recently got to watch the sequel to A Christmas Story, and I want to say this: it's really good. It really holds up to the original Christmas Story movie, which we all knew and love and grew up with. And basically, it starts off like this: it follows the now adult Ralphie as he returns to the house on Cleveland Street to give his kids a magical Christmas like the one he had as a child and reconnecting with childhood friends and reclining the passing of his old man. And you can definitely tell in the opening sequence of this film where basically he's a struggling writer. He's trying to get his book off the ground, but nobody wants to do any kind of business with him or anything like that. And there's also this little throwback that they actually do at the very beginning of this film where basically he's trying to bribe these people to sign him for his book writing, and so does he do? He did exactly what he did in the first movie, which was trying to bribe his teacher. This time he's trying to bribe the people to try and sign him, and he winds up sending him a fruit basket. And I was thinking to myself, that is a very thing that Ralphie would actually do. I'm glad they actually put that little nugget in there for Ralphie because that would actually be something he would do even as a grown adult to try and get what he wants, which is to get signed. Now, in case anybody's wondering, Melinda Dillon, who played Ralphie's mother, she's not in this movie at all. Matter of fact, she retired from acting and she's done amazing work in the past, and you guys can look at her accolades later on. But instead, Miss Parker is actually being played by Julie Haggerty, who was actually in the movie What About Bob back in the 90s. And I think she actually does a really, really good job of actually portraying Ralphie's mother. And, I think that this is actually one of those movies that I would have to say that you can actually enjoy with your family and things like that. But also, too, Ralphie also also has to figure out how to cope with the loss of his father while also trying to hold the family together during Christmas. It does have some of the old trends as the original Christmas story does, and also has some nostalgia of the original. And it doesn't seem forced. And it doesn't seem forced because of the fact that this movie's allowing it to be its own thing, its own entity, rather than having to do a same beat for everything else. It's basically Ralphie trying to show his kids the same Christmas that he had as a kid that his father showed him, and it's like trying to pass the basically just trying to pass the traditions and things like that to your kids. And also too, I also like the fact this is actually set in the 1970s, and it's not like a modern day version of anything. It has that same classic kind of feel to A Christmas Story and things like that. So that's something I really liked about as far as that story goes. Then, like I said, you also have the callbacks to other stuff within this movie. You actually get the famous mall visit where Ralphie visits the mall, and the kids are asking Santa what they want for Christmas, while Ralphie's going shopping and things like that. I definitely like that. Then they also did the other thing where Ralphie is trying to hustle the Christmas tree owner out of his Christmas tree out of his lot, which is something that his old man used to do. And then you also have the other thing, you have the Ralphie being united with some of his close friends. And I thought it was actually cool to see some of his old friends that he had from the original movie, from A Christmas Story. As a matter of fact, you actually have Swartz, who's actually back in this movie. You have Flick. You have all these original friends that are back. But as far as the actors who play these characters as kids, I don't think those are actually the original actors. But for the most part and everything, you can actually feel the magic of A Christmas Story within the sequel itself for Christmas Story Christmas. And also too, I want to say this: they actually they crafted this very beautifully, where you have the kids who are being bullied by the neighbors, which is also the same thing that Ralphie went through as a kid. Then Ralphie's trying to sit down and tell them, look, you guys are going to have to try and figure out things for yourself and try to take care of this. Otherwise, it's going to escalate to more than just being bullied out in the neighborhood. And I also like how the mother ends up telling the kids, "Hey, look, your our son Ralphie, your father was also bullied by the neighborhood kids and things like that. And he had to find his own way, just like how you guys had to find your own way of sticking up for yourselves." Then there's also this other thing where one of his Ralphie's friends actually owns a bar in this movie, which I thought was hilarious because it has this Cheers kind of vibe in a small town community. And when the wives call to check and see where the husbands are and things like that, the bartender's actually covering for the husbands that are actually there and like, "Hey, is there a Jonathan inside the bar?" "No, Jonathan? Jonathan? No, no Jonathan here. Merry Christmas." And of course, everybody winds up taking a deep breath and relaxing after that because they're thinking that their wives are calling them. I definitely like that. And then I didn't really feel like any of the nostalgia stuff was actually forced. It was able to do its own thing. And then also too, you also have this other part where you get to see the bunny suit. I'm not going to say when or how you see the bunny suit. You see the bunny suit. You also see the uh the sh- the BB gun that Ralphie had. You also get to see this other thing that winds up happening where Ralphie's also blackmailing his brother into coming for Christmas because his brother is not there and he's actually traveling and doing different things within his own career. And so therefore he has to try and blackmail his brother into coming for the holidays, which I thought was hilarious because, like I said, it's this character is a grown adult, but there's aspects into his character that are very much the same child that we grew up with watching for the very first Christmas story movie, which I really thought was really great to have. And I think that this movie is going to resonate with some people with some of the nostalgia in this movie, also too being able to do its own thing without having to rely on some of the nostalgia and let the characters grow into their own thing. Now, the mother, like I said, the mother to me, even though she's not being played by Melinda Dillon, and she's being played by Julie Haggerty. I thought Julie was actually funny in this movie. She was actually had a presence there. She was there for Ralphie. She was there for the grandkids. She was there for the wife and things like that. So I thought she did a very good job of playing Miss Parker. I think that she did was a standout in this film. And also too, I want to say this: Julie Parker as not Julie Parker, but Julie as Miss Parker as well too, whenever it comes down to when she's getting a little tipsy and things like that because she's drinking to probably wind up trying to cope with the fact of losing her husband and everything too. So you actually have like a little small bar scene within the mall itself while Ralphie's going shopping. So I definitely like some of the stuff that they actually have there for that. Now, this movie is actually streaming on HBO Max right now, but I strongly recommend anybody who loved the very first Christmas movie try and check this out because I thought this one is just beautifully well crafted, and also too, I managed to laugh in the sequel, especially a sequel that, to be honest with you, should have just not even happened in a certain aspect because of the fact that it was perfect as a one shot kind of movie, but the way that they do it, the way they capitalize on the sequel after so many years is just fantastic. I cannot praise this movie enough because you can sit there with your kids and not have to worry about coming in their ears. There was not really any swearing or anything like that in this one compared to the first movie or whatever but it does hold up to the point where I have to say I had a good time watching this movie, and also too, there's some trivia here that I want to go over too. There's actually some small goofs within this movie itself. You actually have Ralphie's daughter who wants a Hungry Hungry Hippo game for Christmas. The movie is set in 1973, and the game wasn't introduced by Hasbro until 1978. And also too, it also has a soundtrack of "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" and traditional arranged by Jeff Morrow. And I think that people are going to have a great time watching this movie. And it's gonna resonate with them. Also, too, you're going to be able to capture the magic of the very first Christmas Story movie. And I was actually thinking that they were going to do a beat for beat of everything that the original one did. It didn't. It managed to go ahead and separate the original from this one to where you allows it to actually be its own thing. And then, of course, you have Ralphie as an adult daydreaming like he did back in whenever he was a kid and this whole Western kind of vibe type of thing, right? Where, he's trying to stand up for the kids, and then of course this whole entire and he's thinking that he's gonna wind up sticking up for them. It's just a beautiful scene as far as that goes. I think this movie is fantastic. I think you guys should go on ahead check it out on HBO Max. I think that, you know, it's hard to do a sequel to a movie that's been out for years like this and being able to capture the same magic that you once captured. Now, you do miss out on the fact that the father has passed away, and these characters are trying to move away from the fact um, that they're trying to cope with that. But you also wind up missing the father as well. So therefore, you're mourning with his family, and you're also remembering the stuff from the original Christmas story, and you're going through the memories and things like that that Ralphie went through of trying to remember his father. And and it's a tearjerker in some aspects of it because of the fact that you can actually feel the hurt that Ralphie's going through with the loss of his father and trying to actually be the strong person for his family, especially when nobody wants to actually buy his book or anything like that to where he can be a successful author. But you can actually see the pain, the agony, and the struggle there, and also trying to be the top person. I think you guys are gonna have a great time watching this. So that's gonna be it as far as my Christmas story Christmas review. I hope that you guys enjoy this review. If you can, go on ahead. If you enjoyed this video and many of our other videos, smash that like button, smash that also too comment below if you've seen this movie, and also too don't forget to smash that subscribe button. We also did a Christmas story review a couple of years ago. That's going to be in our Christmas playlist reviews if you guys want to check that out. And always until next time, guys, have a great and safe day, and bye bye.